Hello, busy single parents. It's me, your favorite author, transformational speaker, and busy single parent advocate, Author Mia Turner Whitley, author of Life According to the Busy Single Parent, Success Stories and Solutions to Bring Calm to Your Chaotic World. Well, you did it again. Yep, you had another long week, but you made it through. Make sure you take time to pat yourself on the back for the great work that you have done. I always like coming in appreciating you because I know all the times we don't get that. Now, I was thinking about today, what was the topic, what we were going to talk about today, and I thought about the fact that for my busy single parents who have children that are minors, school is out. So what are some things that you are doing with your children for the summer? Go ahead and drop the comments drop your thoughts in the comments below. And then I know for some, I heard this was pretty interesting. Some parents, their children are in charter schools. I want to say it's charter schools, where it's year-round school. So you get a little miniature break, or they get a little miniature break, and then they go back into the school year or continue schooling. And I thought that was pretty neat. I know we tried that one time. I only had one child that wanted to do year-round school. It was my son. And he actually enjoyed it because it gave him something to do, especially during the summertime. My girls, they was like, no, that's okay, we'll pass. So my question to you is three things. I thought about when it comes to summertime, the three things that are impacted. One is the food bill. Yeah, the food bill, because they're eating more than they're in the house all the time. The second thing that happens is the electricity bill goes up because they're, again, there all the time. Or maybe not, which leads to number three, which is activities. What are some activities that you do to keep your young person engaged throughout the summer? So I want you to drop down your suggestions and tips because I know I'm not the only one that has some tips. So first, let's take a look at the food bill. So one of the things that I used to do when my children were younger and it was summertime and I had to work is I would buy enough snacks to last for the week. They had enough food, so there was the breakfast food, there was the lunch food, and it was enough. And sometimes, let me tell you, them weeks be weeking, so it may not be a whole lot. You may get one a piece for one a day, maybe, or maybe every other day, just however they want to split up their snacks. So for those of us that just don't have a lot of those type of resources where you can have plenteous, like it would be at my grandma's. When I would go spend time with my grandmother, she had plenty of everything, right? But for some of us, that's not the case. So how do you handle that? What is it that you do when it comes to the food bill? And it may not be not just the snacks, but then also the food, because you still have to think about breakfast and lunch. So I would make sure they had everything, or maybe a couple of options with breakfast. My kids were easy. They didn't really basic stuff. So it was cereal or Pop-Tarts. I know I'm not the only mom that was on them Pop-Tarts or cereal. You had one or the other, right? And don't be eating them when it's not breakfast time. This is not, sometimes I know in school, I think some schools they started where you are people that do breakfast for dinner. No, we having breakfast for breakfast because this food right here is for your breakfast. For lunch, it was the same thing. Maybe some lunch meat, some chips, a drink, fruit, maybe a piece of fruit. I'm not going to lie, right? It's like just where we were. And with the money that you had and how much you can do and use for what. I didn't get a lot of benefits. And so a lot of it was what I got out of my paycheck between paying for school, paying for rent, a roof over our head, paying for the car note, the insurance, the electric bill, water bill, all the things. It's like, no, we got to be smart and we budget early. We learn to budget early, right? So then with their snacks, it was the same thing. If you run out of snacks, was this you? Was you that parent? If you run out of your snacks, then that's it. Don't be trying to get in mine, because I keep mine, in a little special place. Don't be trying to get in my snacks. But once your snacks are gone, that's it. You got to wait till I go back to the grocery store. And no, I'm not going back to the grocery store just to get your snacks because you decide to eat them all up in one day, right? So that was one thing that worked for me is giving them some accountability, giving them some responsibility over their choices on what they decide to make. And even though it was small things, it mattered, right? Because you think about what it is that we are teaching our children as we are leading and taking care of them, right? So that's what my tip was for the food. Break it up, We're going to have some accountability here. You're teaching them early. See it like that. You're teaching them accountability and responsibility early. The next part was the electric bill, right? With the electric bill, turn them lights off. Let that game run for only a certain amount of time, right? And then the air, of course, you're going to run the air. You don't want your kids to just, be suffocating up in there. So that's going to go up automatically, but then teaching them again how to manage that. Now, was I always successful? No, because I'm sure the times that I was gone or if I'm at work, they got everything on because the bill shows it. So then, the beautiful thing about having grown children, when your children grow up, especially when they have their own kids, just go over there and turn the light on or let the water drip a little bit. Get your lick back. All right. The third one is activities. What are some things that you can do in the summertime? So for us, some things that I would do, keep it simple. Keep it simple, keep it fun, and that doesn't mean that it has to cost you a lot of money either. There's so many things you can do. You can do a movie night, get some popcorn. That don't cost much. You can do some things that don't cost much. One of the things I used to have my kids do because, I love education, is they would do book reports. I would have them reading books. So it just really depends. And I think that was more so with the older two than the younger two. However, whatever works best for you. And then maybe your kids are grown and you're still in that single parent phase where now it's the grandchildren. Well, with grandchildren, it's a whole different world because the kids be getting a little, feeling a little some way because, with grandkids, it's just a little bit different. That's a little bit different. All right, so those are just a few things that I want to come on here and share with you. And then I want you to share with us, share with our community, for other busy single parents, what are some tips around the food bill, electric bill, and activities to do for your children or do with your children during the summertime? Thank you all so much for joining me today on this episode of MIASpeaks. I'm thinking it's Wednesday. I'm getting ready to go into MIASpeaks Wellness Wednesday. No, this is Sunday. Dear busy single parents. So you all continue the great work that you're doing. Y'all stay cool and stay hydrated out there, and we'll see you next week.